Is it working? My
Michael,
camera
I
issues.
don't I don't see you, but I hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, let me see if I can. Oh, I think I know what happened. I have my camera on. Uh,
Gives me the
on
message for you,
OBS.
failed to start camera.
Okay. This. I think I need to switch to. Yeah, there we go. And then I can deactivate that camera. Then I can go back here and I can try again. And it doesn't work. And there we are. Good afternoon, Jan.
Good afternoon, Michael.
How have things been going?
Good. Things are going quite well. I discovered that the best thing to mankind is to be able to forget, to destroy history.
Ah, yes.
But it's not the best thing to software. But not destroying history complicates things a lot.
It does. It does. Especially if the
Uh,
history says something you don't want it to say. Yeah.
that's a different story, but in software the user interface is complicated.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, for the rest in politics, history is always difficult.
Yeah.
But but it has a good thing. If you have a fight with one or you've not been nice to somebody, he will forget that you've not been nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. And humans tend to remember only the positive side. Luckily,
That is true. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I think that's a very good thing.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Memories always see the positive side of things.
Yeah.
Um,
That is true.
yeah, and imagine that everybody would remember, yeah, my grandfather had a fight with your grandfather, so it's better from time to time to forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why don't you just come
Uh,
over for dinner and we'll
yeah,
talk about sports. I don't
so
know.
about Jinaga.
Oh, that too. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
good.
So I've been making
Um,
a bit of progress on the GameHub app.
mhm.
Just about got it ready for the first lesson on Tuesday. So I'll be
Okay,
walking people through facts and specifications, high level, and then we'll dive into some code and see the facts and the specifications in an example game, and then play with it. See what you can
okay.
do.
I'm very
That'll be
curious
the
about
first
that.
session.
Um, do I go over some of the thinking of DWS?
Yeah, yeah. Let's
But
start with
I
that.
try to keep it short, and then I can see something about that reusable architecture of the gaming. Um,
Yes, indeed.
where to start? Where to start? Let's share my little screen. Um, where did I put it? UI. Okay. Let's do it like this. So, where's my text here? Share the text. Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
So I think we complicated things a little bit. Um, I wanted to add features and in the end nothing is working.
Mm,
So I want to go back to the lookup table where we have one client with many yards, yeah, as you suggested.
mm-hmm.
I think it's a good idea, although we can perhaps not force it to be one client many yards, limited to that. But the idea is one client many yards, and for the task where I wanted one client many yards, get back to one client and 1 yard.
Mm-hmm.
And if the customer needs more yards, like today, then I just tell them create more tasks. And then we
Okay.
provide a copy function for the task to make that easy.
Okay, yeah, it's a good place to start.
And in that way, we can use the Navis-like interface with a formal add, update, delete,
Mm-hmm.
which also means if you add a delete, also deletes needs an approved fact.
Yeah. Yeah,
But so
makes
the
sense.
basic interface at the moment, if I switch to that interface, so that will be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So actually what we have today,
Okay.
but we add the button add new client, edit this client or delete this client.
Yes, and I also
And then,
noticed that the name is not editable. It's a strict drop down.
well, nothing is editable in this screen. You can just edit it with these,
Yeah.
yeah, this should be gray. It's just,
Oh, that should do. Okay.
yeah. So edit this yard, delete this yard, add a new yard for the above client. And I also added assign this yard to another client to keep history.
I see. Yeah.
But so every time you click on one of these buttons, yeah, for delete not, but for edit and add, you will open a new window.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best way.
Yeah, that's pretty explicit. I think people are going to be able to find their way around that pretty easily.
I think that's a little bit similar to the interface of the inspection software I did
Mm-hmm.
long ago.
Yeah.
It looks primitive, but it works. So
Yeah. And it's um, yeah, it's something that when somebody just looks at the screen, they can understand. You know, this is what I do if I see that there's a problem here. It's like, oh, that yard location is wrong. Okay, edit this yard. There we go. And they know that edit applies to the whole yard. Whereas there was some confusion, I think, about this edit happening inside of the task view model or the task window, and so it's like, okay, am I editing this just for this task? And in fact, in one of the models we had, that was true. It was just an edit for this task.
yeah. And so in this way, I think it's much more clearer.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I added here, comparison with the inspection software, is this assign this yard to another client.
Mm-hmm.
So that should work. What I do want to add here, because this combo box with data grid inside that you made,
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Because there you see all the relationships between clients and yards,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very easy to look up, to search for somebody.
Yes.
What I would like to do is to add some search functionality to this, because in the end we will have some customers will have a very long customer list,
Yeah.
a very long yard list. So I think this, when you open it, I cannot, it's just a picture here.
Yeah.
When you open it, it becomes the data grid, and that's the place to search for it. And there I had, where did I put it, that one? Filter, let me open another window here. I made a small compilation from a filter that I use in another software. Let me show you that. So that is in WSP, which is in fact EWS, but a predecessor, which works on Windows and which is a little bit more general. So is that visible or is it too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
so
see all the data is hidden. So
it's because that's
probably
real
really
data from a real customer.
Yeah.
So, but wait, let me enlarge it a little bit. It might. So it's 3 times the same thing. So it's just a grid. This is really a grid. So it's like your combo box that opens. we have different columns here. And on top here is a filter.
Yeah.
So the first column is either a job, is a maintenance contract, or I don't know what. So there are three possible statuses. You can just select the status, and then you will filter all the records on that status.
Mm-hmm.
A reference number, if you type in here a number of whatever, he will filter on the fly the records. And it's not only the first characters, whatever number has the digits that you type in somewhere in the number,
Yeah.
he will show them.
Mm-hmm. Does it do that
For,
that thing that you had in the later version in DWS that where it bolds the numbers that you typed in?
yeah. In DWS, I had that just for selecting a customer.
Right. Yes.
But so this filter is on every column and allows you to do an AND function. No ORs. So if you type in something for the type here,
Yeah. Yeah.
you select something, and then, for example, a date, you say, okay, it must be between X and Y, or it must be bigger or equal. Yeah, and then
Wow.
you
That's
can select
really
the
powerful.
date.
Yeah.
Or here you can, for the customer name, you type in just a small portion, wherever that comes back in the customer name. And so it becomes an AND of all these conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
I find
really useful.
adding
Yeah.
a second layer or a third, which could be a OR, complicates things too much for customers.
Yeah. And is that
But this
a
is
problem that they really face? I mean, it's yeah, they're looking
just up
for
to
the
now.
one that they're looking. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
with
like,
this
this is
they
what I'm
are
looking for.
happy.
Yeah.
So I think this is the perfect way to search in that combo box data grid.
Mm-hmm.
And because that combo box data grid will show as well all the customers who have no yards, or the yards which have no customers, and the combinations. So all the combinations will be there, so you can search on anything, on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then if we go back to the little list here, but then the complication starts. So we provide filter and search on all the fields. But then when we add or update a new entity, the software should check whether a similar item exists already. Yeah, that's
Right.
one of the things I'm missing in all my current software,
Mm-hmm.
and that means the technician is adding an entity,
Mm-hmm.
but it exists already. So you create a new entity before it really saves. He should check whether there are similar things, show a list of similar things to the technician, and say, are you sure that it's not one of these?
Yeah. Yeah. And similarity is a tricky thing.
Yeah, but with things like Soundex and similar algorithms, it is possible.
Yep.
But there we get into the deleted and the forget. So the software should check whether a similar item exists or has been deleted before.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That is a good one. Yes.
Yeah, and propose to undelete.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, that's still not too complicated. But then the next question. What do we show in the UI? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, unapproved things. Approved items, for sure. Unapproved items, we have to see when. Rejected items, never, I think.
Yeah.
But then we have to make a distinction between an addition, updates, and deletions. So if we have an unapproved addition, it's an addition, so there is only one version. That's the one that we just created.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, it's simple. We just show, so that will be in the data grid. the data grid
Yeah.
where we select. So it will show that version that has not been approved yet, but with a certain background color.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
the other technicians will see that that version is not approved yet, but they can use it.
Mm-hmm.
If it is an update, there it gets more tricky because we have at least two versions, the approved one and the unapproved update. And we might even have more unapproved updates,
Mm-hmm.
which might be an update of an unapproved update, of a second update of the approved version.
Right. Right. And all those combinations. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, what I think would be the best, there are two possibilities. Either we show each version on a different line in that data grid.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that the technician will not see that there is a link between the two.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Like,
probably
why is
the
it showing up twice?
sorting,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that becomes complicated. The other possibility is that we only show the approved version marked with a background color, but you hover on that version and you will show what I explained last time, a kind of note, a box with one or more previous versions.
Right.
Which might just be a text box with all these versions.
Mm-hmm.
And as we discussed last time, you select always the approved version, and it's the dispatcher who will decide on which version is the correct one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that simplifies things, and it puts the difficult decision in the hands of the person who's got a bit more
All the information.
more experience with. Yeah, they've got the information. They know how the software works. So, yeah. 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 I think that's starting to move toward the right solution.
And then we have the unapproved deletions. Well, there is only one version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we show that version marked with a background color. So that's the approved, the last approved version.
Yeah.
Yeah, marked with a background color that it will be proposed for deletion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I like this. It kind of generalizes to what you're seeing is the approved list, but then it's just annotated with the pending changes.
Exact.
And really,
exact.
And really just an indicator that there are pending changes. You know, not you have to do one extra thing in order to see what those pending changes are. Yeah.
So in fact, everything is working like people are used to have it working today in their software. But they have these additional features that were not available up to today.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then that's not complicated enough.
Didn't you start with let's keep it simple?
Yeah. What if there are combinations of additions, updates, and deletes? Yeah, because it could be that I update something, another technician deletes something, and it was a creation of somebody, an addition which had not been approved yet. So if there is an approved version available, we show that one. Yeah, so it's not an addition. There was an approved version, so updates or deletes. If it was an addition, which was not approved, then we show the unapproved addition. In both cases, we mark them with a background color. And all the subsequent operations, they go in the note that appears on hovering. I think that's the most logical thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, this reminds me a little bit about a Java app that applet back when there were applets that I wrote way back when I was learning Java. I wrote an applet that you can play chess. And even tried to hook it up to sockets so you can play chess with other people. That part didn't really work all that well, but one of the features that I added to it was that it showed the squares that each side controls. So if you were to put a piece there, they could capture it. There's something that could capture there, and so the white pieces highlighted their squares in green, and the black pieces highlighted in red. Now, when there was a contested square, so two could capture there, then it turned yellow, which actually kind of looked like green light and red light shining on the same square. It was a really cool effect. So yeah, a third background color to represent. There's a combination.
Okay, so make it. Yeah, because I've not thought yet about these background colors.
Yeah.
Should it be different for an addition, a deletion, or an update? Or should we make all of them the same background color? And then for
Okay.
combination.
Yeah, I just assumed that they were different background colors. Like there would be red for an addition, it would be green for or red for a deletion, green for an addition, yellow for update. I just kind of threw that in. I was hallucinating that.
And then purple for combination.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is not bad. So for addition, green. For updates, we take yellow or orange, and for deletions, we take, for example, red. And then for a combination, we take something else, something nice.
Yeah.
we will see.
Yeah, if you use light, you're trying to simulate shining light on it, then it's white. So that's already the background color. So yeah, or so an alternative to a different background color is to have some precedence among them. So maybe deletion is the most important. So if there is a deletion, it doesn't matter if there's an add or an update, then it's red. But no deletion, now you fall back to which is more important, add or update. Probably add, so green, and then you fall back to yellow. Yeah. So two options.
Okay, we'll think about that. Then searching. What are we gonna do about searching? If we search, we need to include both approved and unapproved versions. And we will show them in exactly the same way as what do we do? So what we did here, and that makes sense because it's the same data grid. So it's the same mechanism. But so you can search for an approved and an unapproved version. But when we search, it will also include the data that's in the nodes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so what it shows is the same grid as before, but the search will include the data in the nodes. And from a programming point of view, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's another problem to find out.
Yeah.
First, let's see what I want. Then we can still cross things, unable to implement.
Right.
Then how to handle approved deletions. Yeah. Do we show deleted entities in a search and we provide an undelete button?
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if we do it like that, somebody adds a new record, and then by the similarity, we say, hey, but this one exists, but it is deleted. So we show it up, and there they can undelete it.
Yeah, which is what you documented up above when you're trying to add.
Yeah, yeah. Or do we always show deleted entities
Hmm.
in that data grid? But then what's the point to delete them?
Yeah.
Or should we just provide a checkbox below the grid, show deleted items?
Hmm.
Um,
Wow, that one's
there are
nice and simple. Yeah.
a few possibilities. I'm not. I haven't decided on that one yet.
Mm-hmm.
The blue one, I find it a little bit too far, so I don't want to go that way, I think.
Right.
But deleted is deleted. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
also have to make sure that we don't scare customers by saying you deleted something, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's scary that it's not there. Sometimes it's scary that it is. So yeah.
Then another question, do we provide a way to undo approval or rejection? A dispatcher,
Yeah.
he clicks on reject, and I say, oh no, I was wrong. I should have clicked on approved.
Yeah. I think we have to.
So we should provide,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit, if you don't have that, but that's something that will be only for the dispatcher.
Right. Right.
So, and then we have still the question, how do we handle merge of entities? That's only for the dispatchers. But I think these two, that's a little bit advanced. So for the moment, we leave it. And the next step, I think I go to adapt the model again.
Yep.
And then try to construct all the specifications to make all that functionality possible.
Yeah.
And then see for the user interface, like the nodes when we hover over, how can we do that? How to implement the filter. But so,
Yeah. Yeah.
not forgetting things.
No, that sounds really comprehensive. And so I'm thinking about the filter. That has a relationship with paging in in a general application. So in Jinaga, there's some complication there, but so I want to ask, how many of these client yard rows do you expect to have in that dropdown?
In the current users, some of them have quite a lot of them inside, a few thousands.
Okay. Yeah. So that is getting to the point that you don't want to load all of those into one user interface, because if you get over maybe 100, then scrolling to find the one you want, you're just not going to scroll. Instead, you're going to start to use the search feature and rely upon that really heavily, and then that's going to filter that down to a nice scrollable size. And so the traditional application, when you've got a large list like that, it will page. It'll load a page in, and then you hit the bottom. It might automatically fetch the next page, or you might hit a button. And that works for a traditional application because the data you want is over there, and you have to go over there to get it. With this application, we're expecting that the data that you want is already on your machine. So if you're paging, it's really just for the user interface, and then you're talking maybe virtual items in your list. But so paging and filtering tend to go together in a traditional application because the thing that you're filtering for might not be on the page you're looking at. So you need to filter first and then page. And then in Jinaga, if you've got all the data locally already, then then you just apply the filter and then use virtual lists in order to display it. So yeah, actually, I think really the only time that as I'm thinking through this, the problem that I was thinking it was going to pop up that hasn't popped up. If this were a web application, and you didn't want to have local storage on the dispatcher app, then you would probably want to have a separate data store where you project all of the the current state
Facts.
of those facts into that other data store. So like put that into Elasticsearch is what I usually use for that, and then you have a different endpoint that does the filtering and the paging against that other one. And then when you make changes, it just pushes it to the other one and keeps that cache fresh. But yeah, in this case, you're going to want to have local storage turned on, so you've got your SQLite database locally, and so yeah, you can do all of the filtering just against that those projections that you get back. That would be in memory. So there is that consideration to think about. But then in order to keep the user interface light, then we might want to look into virtualizing the list or the grid view. That way we're not creating 1,000 user interface components, most of them that are off screen.
Yeah, because this version will run on Windows, on laptops, on PCs. So there it should work. But the version that runs on Android, for example, telephones are not so powerful.
Yeah.
And most of the time on Android, it's virtualization, all the lists. But so the search should follow as well. Yeah. Now the application. Oh, wait, let me show you back to the search list here. Yeah. So this one, that's also an application that started more than 20 years ago. That was already in .NET, one of the first .NET versions.
Oh wow.
I think two something. But so you see here these buttons, these checkboxes, which I added through the years. And the first one, it's in Dutch, but it means hide everything that has been finished and that's older than 365 days. And by default, it is enabled. So it only shows the things which are either still active or not more than a year old.
Okay. Yeah, so a little bit of negative logic going on there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well,
and the next one,
got it.
normally is three of them are activated, show only the not finalized worksheets, and the last one is show only my worksheets. And all that because initially this was not there, and so you had an enormous list, and in the beginning everything was fine, and throughout the years, the computers became more powerful, but the list grows so fast that it became too slow.
Yeah.
And in this one, there is no virtualization. So it's all technology. But so that might be useful.
Yeah.
Okay. So
so the general pattern that I think we're going for is that you'll want to project not just what you show on the screen, but you project everything. Then you've got all those objects, and right now we're still talking about those objects being in memory, and then you do the filter on those objects, both from the top bar and from the checkboxes, and those objects include the notes, all the updates and all that stuff. So so then you do that filter. Now you've got the objects that you're interested in, and then that's where you bind those to the virtualized list.
Yeah, but so that filtering, do it with link directly?
Yeah, I think that's where to start. Yeah, so link to objects. It's just in memory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we find that is too slow, then
Project
we could
everything
do
in another data store.
right. Yeah, a local data
Yeah.
store. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe even use SQLite for that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can use SQL to query it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just add another table in
Mm-hmm.
the database and
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I would say create a separate database. Let Jinaga manage the Jinaga
Mm-hmm.
database, but yeah,
Yeah.
add a separate one. Yeah.
Good.
But we don't have to
That
start there.
was
Or in fact, yeah, you know what? Since you want to use Soundex, it might actually make sense to use a local Lucene database. Um, so there's Lucene.net. There's I think Elasticsearch might have a local version that you can use. Um, but then that would give you the similarity based search, and you don't have to try to implement that in link to objects. So maybe it makes sense to go straight to
yeah.
a stored database
Now I
right away.
now I came up with Soundex because it's something that is well known, but
Yeah.
I remember um, it was for the inspection software. To clean up all the databases, I made a special tool where I showed them the similarities between all different records.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And that's quite a while ago, but it worked quite well. And I used Soundex, but not only Soundex, also other algorithms that I found
Mm.
that I have.
Leverage distance and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a long time ago,
Yeah.
so but it worked well. So I might have a look at that and try to use that, implement it in Link, an
Yeah.
extension
Yeah.
function or something.
Cool.
Good, but so now I go think about the model and the specifications.
Mm-hmm.
So iterate between that and the user interface. But we are getting closer, but there is still a lot of work to do.
Yes. Yep.
But
And
I think,
yeah, keep it simple.
yeah.
Right from the
But
beginning.
I think in the end, we will come to a number of ways to work with the user interface, which are adapted to Jinaga.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, the first screen is difficult, but the second might go faster.
Yeah. 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 And I found that to be true in my work as well. Is that this is the way I want the user interface to work. This is the way Jinaga thinks. It's not quite lining up, and then I come up with a pattern to make it work. And usually that pattern reveals something that was kind of off with the or difficult to implement with the way that user interfaces are typically developed, or maybe the kind of an assumption of mutable data built into the way that UIs typically work. And I was like, maybe we should challenge that assumption. Maybe this is okay that it's not working exactly the way that it used to.
Good. Now I listen to game engines.
Yes. All right. So I want to start with, where do I want to start? I think I want to start there. So I will do a share here. Okay, I'm sharing that. And now everybody can see as well. So you should be seeing GameHub in what looks like Visual Studio Code. Is that so? Is that coming through on Zoom? Okay. Yeah, but in fact, this is not Visual Studio Code. This is Cursor. So as you are well aware, my typical my go-to is RuCode in Visual Studio Code. But I wanted to transition to Cursor for this part of the project because that's the tool that I know a lot of the folks in my class are going to be using. And if I say, here, try RuCode, then yeah, also buy an API key, and yeah, if you really like it, you're gonna end up spending $100 a month. So So it's like, how about we stick with what
Mhm.
you're familiar with, and so now I'm on the $20 a month plan, and it's working pretty well. Not as well as RuCode, but I can I can get by with that. So what I have started right here, let me go ahead and kill that, and um, we can kind of see what's going on. So here is an npm application. So inside of GameHub, we've got our app folder, and it's got all of these different commands because it's got all of the different services that are all running in there. And so I already have them built and running in Docker. So let's just see if this part is going to work. We should be able to go to localhost / we'll start with portal. Wait, no, I'll start with status. Yeah, go ahead and check on the status of things. So now the this reusable architecture has a status page that indicates these are the 3 backend services. So you can see, are they healthy, meaning, can you ping them, and are they ready, which means that they can connect to whatever they need to connect to, and they are ready to receive traffic. And then I added this configured, which each of the different services tells you which of its configuration sections are all set up. So the content store, it's got secrets, and that's configured. The player identity provider has the JWT section, and that's configured. The service IP has a couple of sections. Yeah, that's popping off the screen there. Well, it's got JWT and clients, and both of those are configured. And then down here, we've got our front-end applications. So the admin portal and the player app are both front-end applications. So that means they're just served up as JavaScript files. So there's no healthy or ready to them. It's just, do you have the files? So they're all running in browser, but they do have configured sections. So the admin portal, there's the client, the tenant, and the service principal, and then on the player app, you've got a whole bunch of stuff. Client authentication is configured, Jinaga is configured, tenant environment, blah, blah, all that stuff is configured. And so that really helps me at a glance to see, have I finished the setup process, and then if there's a problem, just come here, look for the red light, and say, oh, that's probably where I need to look. And so this is really going to help the learners, so they don't have to go into Docker and like in here, and say, okay, well, let's see how the replicator is doing. So go ahead and take a look at the replicator logs, and it's like, oh, I don't know, what am I looking for? What is this nastiness? That's actually my Jinaga logo, but for some reason Docker takes out all the white space. It's like, I worked so hard on that. And it was supposed to be really easy to see if it was good or bad, because it was Jinaga or warning, but now you can't tell. Anyway, but yeah, so rather than having to look through all these, see if there's any container that stopped, the containers are designed not to stop even if there's a problem, and then instead report they're not healthy or they're not ready. Let the container orchestrator use the health checks and the readiness checks in order to take them out of the load balancer, let them get ready, or just kill them and let another one start up. So that is the status page. The other one is the setup page. So here we've already completed 2 steps. It's now just 2 steps. Started out with 3 steps. But the first step, Fusion off. If that's not set up, then it tells you, click here, create an account, and then take the IP or the API key and then paste that in there, and then it gives you a command that you can run at the command line to configure all of Fusion Auth. And then once you have that, refresh this page, then it says, hey, Fusion Auth is done, we're on tenant. So follow these steps in order to set up your tenant, and then run this other script to put that tenant's public key everywhere it needs to be. So a really simple two-step process. This part, with me talking them through it, should take at most 15 minutes. When I do it on my own, which I've done many, many times now on both of these machines, it goes really fast. So have a nice, simple setup. So the things that you have, you've got the portal. So hey, here's Fusion Auth. So log in there, and the things that we still have this leftover events menu. I need to take that out. That was left over from Launch Kings, so you could set up the different Launch Kings events. But yeah, so yeah, here you've got the various tenants. So every Jinaga application is a multi-tenant application. It just has to be that way. And so so you come in here, you create a tenant, and it uses that single-use principal pattern to set up the owner of the tenant, and then immediately make the currently logged in user an administrator of that tenant. Mm-hmm. So then copy the key, paste that into the setup application, run the script, and it sets a bunch of environment variables and restarts things. Then you come and you do actually, the service principles was one that I removed from the setup steps, at least for right now. So service principles are other identities that when some backend service needs to connect to Jinaga, it is going to use the service identity provider, give it a shared key, and say, all right, I'm allowed to access this provider. So they get a token, they call the Jinaga replicator, and the replicator says, yes, I authorize your token, and here is a brand new public key that represents you. So a service principal is a user. And so this lets you paste in the public key of that service principal, and then it will make them an administrator of this tenant as well. But this button is really cool, provision known services. What this does is it actually calls out to the other services. So like, I know about the player identity provider. I know about, so this, some of these services for this might be some bots, like something that's going to play chess. So you start a chess game, you add a bot to the game, and now that bot is running in the back end as a service. So it says, okay, I know about the chess bot service. And so it's going to call them and ask for their public keys, and then list their public keys here, and you can just say, check, 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 and those are the services that I want to provision. And there they are. So, so yeah, that it used to be that you would come in here, you say, okay, player identity provider used to need to be a service. Now, now it can be an identity provider without even looking at the facts. So I've taken that part out. But it used to publish its public key in the logs, so you'd have to copy that and then come up here, paste it in there. But I was like, you know what? I already know about that service, and getting a public key is not a scary, unsafe operation. So just get it. I can expose public keys to the world, and that's fine. So yeah, nice, simple, nice, easy setup. I still have the invitations in there. I haven't set up the authorization and distribution rules for invitations yet, but the idea is that during the setup, you created your admin account, invitations are how you can create an invitation code and send that to somebody else, and then they create an identity in FusionAuth and then accept your invitation. So that was how I gave the Paperlight team that ran the Code Launch show, how I gave them access to the Launch King's admin. Just sent them invitations. So that's still in there. So get that working again within this stack. But that's actually not the part that I want to initiate people with. I want them to first come in here and have some fun. So we're going to start with the player app. Hey, welcome to GameHub Player. When you are running, let's see, wait a minute. It actually should do more than this now. Let me hit Control F5. Okay, well, yeah, I might have. Oh, that's right. I just haven't built for the container. Let me do that real quick. So we are here at the terminal, and there's an npm command that you can run called build container. I think it's that one. Oh, okay, npm run build player container. And so this runs the build and the bundler for the player application, and then copies the bundle into Nginx. So now it's available through the front end. So now if I refresh the page, now I've got the actual application. So you can see there's some issues here. Hey, I don't have a name. I'm forbidden here. So I haven't made sure that I have all of the authorization and distribution rules set up for the player application. But that's not the way that people are going to first experience the player application. They will first experience it in local development mode. So that brings us back to what was running right at the beginning. I will do an npm run dev player. So that runs the player application in development mode, which then starts it up at localhost 3000. And now it's not hitting the back end. This is just doing some front end stuff, which is a really great experience for quickly iterating on the user interface. You don't have to worry about doing all that setup, and then as a nice little bonus, if you make a change, so let's go to the home page and make a change here. So welcome to GameHub. Hey, where's welcome to GameHub? Am I in the right page? There's the name input. Oh, okay, that's the name input. There we go. Here's the GameHub lobby. GameHub lobby. So make a change. Still no change, but if I hit save, then it immediately changes. So you get that nice developer experience. And so you quickly develop your application, and you can see that it's got some things that are already set up. So we know the user's name, and they're not yet in a playground. But when I take a look at the Jinaga config in the player application, right here I can set up some test data. So we will create the tenant creator, and then create the tenant, and then the player user. So just a fake public key, and then here's the player belongs to that tenant, and then just j.fact this player name. So now we're saying Leroy Jenkins is the name of that player. So set up those 5 facts, makes this tiny little graph, and then when you run the application, you get that data. So now you can start testing out capabilities. So we've got start a new playground, and so this is going to create this playground code at random. It's going to navigate you there. It's going to join you to the playground, and then I can say, okay, let's go back home, and now I can see I am part of that playground, so I can always get back to it. Or I can leave the playground, blink, and now I'm no longer part of it. And so it's creating those facts, but it's just doing that in memory. It's not storing them in the browser, and it's not sending them to a replicator. And that way you can quickly iterate on building your application. So that's the first experience that I want them to get, is we're just going to clone the code, npm install, and then npm run dev player. Get in here. Let's play around with some facts. Now there is one really cool thing. Let me show you this really cool thing. So so far this is on the we are on the main branch. Yeah, there it is. There's main. Bloop. I'm going to check out the challenge branch. So this is where I'm working on the challenge feature, so you can challenge another player to a game, and then they'll have to accept, and then you can get in and you can actually play some tic-tac-toe. So in order to be able to test that in developer mode, I need another player. I need somebody who's going to accept the challenge. So how is that going to work? Well, we come back here, and yeah, it reloads because it did the rebuild, and now we've got simulated players. So the simulation is on, and so when I start a playground, we will see, boom, Lambert showed up. Okay, cool. And now I can challenge Lambert to a game, and say, all right, I'm going to start, or Lambert starts. Send the challenge. And so the next part of the simulation is Lambert's going to accept the challenge, and then we'll be able to work on the user interface to continue from there. So got that with the 2 players in there. Let's start a new playground, and let's see who joins this time. Quistis has joined. So it randomly selects a name from the gaming world. Quirrell. I wonder if that's from Harry Potter. But yeah, now you get to pretend that you're actually interacting with other players, even though it's all happening in browser.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, oh, and I am working on this this tag user interface right now. So right now it's just randomly selecting a tag, so you can see what the tags look like. So every time you go in, yeah, they rejected your challenge. So yeah, that's and then yeah, after a challenge is accepted, it'll navigate to the game page, and then the simulator will actually play tic-tac-toe. Yeah, I'll probably make it play randomly, because if I make it play well, then you won't be able to test the I win feature. It'll just be that you can make yourself lose or you can draw. So I'll just probably make it play randomly.
Computer is too strong. You can never win.
Yep. Yeah, certainly with a game like this. but yeah, even more with chess. That's becoming true. Um, so yeah, get to play around with the logic for this, and get to see things like. So here is the GameHub model. So we can see we've got our tenant, administrator, player, all of the facts in the model. Yeah, here's a quick list of all the facts. Yeah, so challenge. You reject the challenge or you start a game. So accepting the challenge creates a game fact. Because no need to have a separate accept fact. You just go straight into there. And we do have some distribution rules, because you can test distribution rules and authorization rules in unit tests without actually invoking a replicator. So not for the first session, but probably for the third session, I think we will get into authorization and distribution rules, and show how to build these. But yeah, the real fun part is if we come back to the admin app source services. Here is the wait a minute. No, not the GameHub admin. GameHub player. There it is. Source. There it is. Services. Background service. So you've got the player session. Well, yeah, it's all exposed through a hook. So here is the use player session hook. So you put this hook, this is a React hook right at the top of your hierarchy, and then it starts this simulator. So let's hop down to the hook itself. You enable the simulation, set simulation enabled. So you've got is enabled. So this use effect is triggered whenever is enabled changes. And so if it is enabled, then you have this playground spec. You're looking for all the playgrounds in the tenant. Go ahead and start a watch when you see a new playground detected, and you create a simulated player. And then it cleans up the observer. So it's a pretty simple little hook. So create simulated player. That just waits for a random delay. And then it creates a user, creates a player, and generates a gaming name. So pulls from that big long list of gaming names, creates that player name, and then joins the playground. So then it's going to be at this point that oh, actually right here, I've already started down this path where it's creating a simulated challenge to the other players in the room. So it should join your room, and then a few seconds later, after some random delay, it should find other players and challenge them. Looks like I don't have the random delay in here. Yeah, need to put that random delay. Otherwise, it just shows up and challenges you. But yeah, with the random delay, then it'll be, oh, it showed up. I'm going to challenge them, and we'll test that route. Or let's just wait for it to challenge me and test that route. But yeah, once you accept, then so it's going to create another watch, and it's going to look for the game in response to their challenge. Or down the other path, it's going to create a watch where it's looking for a challenge in response to them showing up in the in the playground. So once it gets to the point where it actually has a game, then it calls another function that it then is just looking for moves in the game using watch, and then responding to those moves by waiting some random number of seconds and then playing a response. So the simulators are really easy to write. This turned out to be a lot of fun. Just do a And let me go back to this one here. Yeah, just create a okay, create simulated player. I want to do this one here. Yeah, that's the pattern that just repeating over and over again for these simulators. Create a specification, watch that specification, and then when you get that watch, go ahead and call a function with the facts that you have now, and say continue from here, and tell the story. So that is turning out to be really fun.
You've done a lot of work again.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that is the reason for cursor. Yep. I really want to do like a few hour session. Maybe we can set up like a weekend hackathon thing, and I can show you around how all this works. This is the part that really unlocks it. So here is a cursor rule, Jinaga facts, that's applied intelligently. So use this rule when defining new facts. Focus on immutable fact design principles. And then this has a bunch of code examples, tells you to add it to the model. So some of the patterns, you really have to tell it not to do what it will naturally try to do. So here, things like state. We want to put, it always tries to put state inside of a fact, and it's like, nope. Facts are just the immutable record of what happened at that moment in time. You derive the state. So yeah, I actually had to call that out. So this rule is loaded into context automatically based on the task that it's trying to perform. So it basically takes that task, does a search against these descriptions, and sees, does this description kind of fit that task? If so, load this in, and now you've got all of this instruction. And because I've set up a lot of these rules, it does a really good job of keeping on the rails. And it's like, okay, now we're going to design the model. Now we are going to design the user interface. So, okay, here is the front-end development set of rules. So I want to use atomic design. I want to avoid a whole bunch of tailwind stuff and prefer to reuse components. And then it does it. So yeah, this has really helped to to speed things up and to keep the quality bar high. It's not quite as powerful as the roux modes that I tend to use, but this is going to be accessible to the others, and this is part of the repository. So anybody using cursor is going to have these exact same cursor rules.
You can just download and play with it.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, I think once you get to the hang of what AI assisted coding can do, you can start to apply that to DWS and really unlock a whole bunch of velocity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one right here is the most important one. So I think I do want to spend some time one of these days going over this one. This one is set to always apply. It's so important. But this talks about the documentation structure, which we've got right here, docs. So all these things like the product requirement documentations, the ever important plans. So here are the checklists.
Okay.
You can actually see these are the things that I've already completed on my laptop. So we've checked those things off. These are the next things to do. So yeah, I sit down and go through the plan. It's like, okay, the next thing we want to do is do the challenge notifications. So copy that in. Boom. We are looking at the implementation and say, whoops, that's a public key. I want to copy that. And let's just go. So it already has the plan. It already has the PRD. So then it gets started with that particular work item, and then I review what it did. Usually it gets something wrong, so fix what it did, commit that, cycle through. So this, yeah, I really want to spend some time going over this this particular process with you. This is what people now online are calling context engineering. Yeah, it's coming up all sorts of stuff. You just go through and review. Like, okay, here's we can close these off and see a little bit closer. Yeah, challenge notification component. So we've got our accept and reject challenge buttons. And before accepting these, you can run them. These are saved, but it knows what it did, so it can undo them if you reject. But then I'm also using Git, so even if I accept all of these changes, I can review them before I make the Git commit. So yeah, that's actually, it just created the challenge notification. It hasn't integrated it yet. So yeah, I think the integration is down here. Yeah, update the player, the playground lobby to add the challenge notification area.
Integrate with existing playground features.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'd probably do a quick review of the code on that one and accept that, and then jump straight down to this one and tell it to do that one next. And then repeat. So I'm having a really good time.
Oh, it's amazing the way it goes. If you have to do that all by hand.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. That is a lot of code to type by hand. It's not all that complex, but yeah, you can see it following the guidance that I gave it. So it's reusing components from the design system. It's minimizing the Tailwind classes. So it's like, yeah, just a few, that's fine. But if it gets crazy, make a new component. And there are even rules around how I like the hooks to be designed. It didn't pull any of those rules into context because it's not creating hooks yet. So here it's just kind of, calling the functions that were passed into this component. So this component doesn't need a view model. But yeah, for the components that need view models, I've got rules around how it should design the view models, how it should integrate them with specifications, what it should do with the the commands and loading indicators and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that all looks good. Oh yeah, nice little cherry on top. We come over here. These are the changes that I made. Just hit the little sparkle button. So it updated the challenge notification component to enhance index X. And it just describes what it did. So, yeah, that's a good commit message. Much better than I would have written. And sync it up.
Yeah, program is live these days. These days is.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Well, I think we will return to popcorn and pizza.
Yeah.
Let the computer do the work.
Yeah, you do have to review everything it writes. So I'm basically just sitting back and reading code now. And then say, nope, not that. No, you got that wrong. Yeah, prompt it to correct the things that it got wrong. And then here's another pro tip. And then you have a little retrospective with it right then and there. It's like, okay, tell me all the things that you got wrong. And then it looks at that history and it says, oh, I made this mistake and this is, okay, so now here's the rule file. Critically analyze. You always have to use the word critically, otherwise it's just going to be all flowery and happy. Critically analyze the rules and tell me what changes need to be applied to avoid this mistake in the future. I say, oh, okay, these are the ways I would change the rule file. Okay, great. And then I review those changes and say, go ahead and apply those to the rule file and check that in.
So that becomes recursive.
Yep. Yeah, and that's how you get it to respond so well the next time, and just over and over again. It gets to now it's broken out all the different ways that it interacts with Jinaga, and so okay, I'm writing a model, I'm writing a specification, I'm writing an authorization rule, and those are all separate rule files.
Yeah. Would be nice if it could write that user interface code for me.
It can. WPF is already well within the training set, so there's not even much guidance you would have to give it to get good WPF out of it.
Okay.
It's just then some rule files specifically to Jinaga.net and how to create Jinaga file or Jinaga models and specifications and view models and. So yeah, maybe we can set up a time to just get all of that set up for you.
Yeah, I want to give it a try.
Excellent.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll really help you to get this product out to your customers more quickly, and you do it this way, and you keep the quality bar high. This is not producing a bunch of slop.
Because now it's remembering the programming and making the decisions. You could just say that's good, that's bad. Do it in another way. Let's try that next week.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Okay. Good.
Very good.
Next week you will be there, I assume.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Me too.
Okay. Well, then now.
Okay, Michael. Thank you very much, and see you next week then.
Okay. See you next.